So you have a problem employee. What should you be doing? Kevin Ware, your action business coach. And this is an issue I deal with probably with some of the most frequency of any issue I am dealing with managers or business owners. You've got an employee. They're either constantly late. They behave badly with others. They're spreading gossip and rumors. They've got poor quality to their workmanship. They leave early. They have an absenteeism problem, or any variety of negative behaviors that basically endanger the effectiveness of your workplace. So this is one of the biggest challenging issues because we want all of our employees to be virtually perfect employees. And guess what? That doesn't happen. No matter how well you hire, you are going to hire employees who are going to give you problems. So, first of all, let's talk about what you don't do. There are 4 things that you don't do with dealing with a problem employee. Number 1, ignore the problem. It isn't going to go away. If you are conflict averse, you're going to have to put some form of spine inside of yourself and deal with these negative behaviors. So they just won't go away. Number 2 is use passive aggressive behaviors or comments. It doesn't do any good to address a negative employee behavior in sort of a side-handed, sort of smarmy way. Well, you know what? We'd have a lot better production line if it wasn't for you being late today, or other just little jabs that really don't deal with the issue, and they might make you feel better to do those backhanded sort of comments, as I said, passive-aggressive comments back to them, but it doesn't get at the issue. Number 3 is you don't basically rebuke and jump on that employee in front of others. Maybe they did make an honest mistake, but you know what? It's not for you to humiliate them in front of their coworkers. That's just a big no-no. And then number 4, you don't make public excuses for their behavior. Well, she's just probably having a bad day, or, well, I'm just wondering if it's that, if there's something going on that's affecting her, and I'm sure it's something that she's dealing with. You don't make those excuses for those behaviors because the other employees might know a lot more than you are, and they're going to see that you're giving this person a pass. So, let's talk about the 4 things that you need to focus on dealing with a problem employee. The first one is communicate quickly and privately about the behavior. When you observe the behavior, you need to deal with it as soon as possible. The longer that you wait to communicate with the employee about their negative behavior, the more that they feel that it's not that big of a deal and it's going to get repeated over and over again. So, how do we effectively communicate with the employee? First of all, we deal with the issue. We talk to them privately. We address the issue, number 1. Number 2 is that you listen to the employee's response. Whether they are putting together just a total bad excuse or a real issue that they're dealing with, you need to listen to the employee. Don't cut them off. Don't jump on them in the middle of a sentence of what they wanted to express. Let them talk that out to you of why that, in their minds, that they behaved that way. Well, then third one is that you need to then clarify the standard. You're not going to make excuses for them. You are going to make sure that they understand what the standard is, and so that there's absolute crystal clarity around what the standard is. Then number 4 is we need to agree on what that behavior is going to be ongoing for them. What does that look like for them? Problem solve with that employee so that they understand what that the behavior that you want from them and how they're going to get to basically back to that behavior, and then finally assure them that you believe that they have the ability to correct and to be a great employee. So now the second thing is that you need to follow through. When they do basically change their behavior, give them positive reinforcement. Tell them, hey, really appreciate that. You may not want to do it publicly, but maybe do it privately instead. If you feel it would work publicly, and give them a positive in front of others, great, wonderful. If they continue the negative behavior, redirect them back to the positive behaviors that you want them to do. Because here's the key, is we want to reinforce the standard in the business. Always remember this, the standard is the standard doesn't change. How you accomplish a standard can be creative, innovative, things that maybe are different, but the standard is still the standard. That's a key that we have to understand, is reinforcing that standard. Number 3, and this may seem kind of strange, but I'll tell you in just a second what's powerful, is continual recruitment. Here's the thing, is that you should never feel trapped keeping a bad employee. Well, you know what, Kevin, I just can't get rid of that employee because they're the most essential employee there and I don't have a replacement. Well, here's the whole thing. One of the things I always talked about is always be recruiting. I call it ABR, always be recruiting. Recruiting never ends. And remember, recruiting is different than hiring. You're recruiting for talent, you're hiring for need or opportunity. So one of the things that we always want to do is continually do that recruiting, because at the end of the day, there's a good chance that employee may not work out. You need to have that person in your pipeline, or what I might call the bullpen, ready to go, so that you don't feel trapped in keeping that employee who's not going to turn around. And then the fourth thing is to help them be a success somewhere else. At the end of the day, if you've communicated effectively, you've followed through and redirected them, and you've given them, maybe even given them additional training, and nothing is working, you have to change course. I had a client one time, and I asked him what his biggest learning was, and he goes, you know what? If you're going to fail fast, and if you're going to fire fast. And there are some times that, yes, you want to give as many opportunities for an employee to develop. But after a period of time and you don't see substantial improvement in their behaviors, then you're going to have to make that decision. You don't hesitate to let them go if there is no improvement, because let's face it, I know I've been fired from jobs when I was a lot younger, and I ended up seeing it as an opportunity to move into something that was a much better fit for me. So I always use that phrase, help that person be a success somewhere else, because they just don't fit your employment, that job, your company, and maybe they're going to fit somewhere else. So let's go ahead and cover those 4 things again. Number 1, communicate. Number 2, follow through. Number 3, continual recruitment. And number 4, help them be a success somewhere else if they don't see market improvement. So if you want to learn how to be a better manager, I've got an upcoming 12-week management course where you get to learn how to be a better manager. If you're interested, click below, book a 15-minute call with me. I'll talk it through with you, and hopefully this will be a help for you. Go out there, be the manager that you know you can be.